It was really great. It was fun to work with the players and to see the improvement that they made. They seem to be more together. They really do understand the way that we want to run our practice. I thought the tempo was good, much longer than it was at probably any point last year during summer camp. They faded a little bit in the round periods 24, 25. They started to die a little bit. It went down, but for the most part, I thought the guys were in great spirits and starting to come together.
How helpful it is to have so many more offensive linemen.
Yeah, we had 16 guys practicing today. I had the biggest smile on my face to be able to know that we could practice and not have to stop and try to reconfigure things like we did in the spring and even at points in the fall.
How'd those guys blend? You have a lot of new guys playing out there.
Yeah, and they were noticeable by their errors as much as their good plays, and most of the errors they just didn't. It was just things were moving just so fast, and the defense gave them a couple different looks, and that was all over. They would just brain cramp. But when it got time, when they recognized the looks and just performed athletically, I saw all three of the transfer guys make plays today, which I was really glad to see that.
Is that kind of part of what you're looking to see from them?
Yeah.
What their speed of learning is?
Yeah, and as coaches, we always rely on the film. We can go back and really just see. But from my observation out here, I thought all three of them seemed to adapt fairly well to the pace.
And then as far as adapting, how about the 2013 class? You call it the best class possibly in school history. How they, day one, no pads.
I don't know if any one of them stood out, but I thought there was a good number of them that look like they're going to be legit players as time goes by.
What kind of learning curve do you have for you guys, especially like Bob said, without pads on?
Well, if I could take the fifth-year guys, I look at them a little bit differently. The learning curve is it's got to be less for them. They've got it because most of the things that you do on offense or defense, you do them all. From a fundamental standpoint, at least you've done them for your whole career, especially collegiately. They may call it something different at the other school, but as soon as that player learns to relate what he's already learned to the new terminology, we expect him to be able to execute those basic fundamentals. Then as far as learning the plays, that's going to be, we'll see what their capacity is. If they can absorb a lot of offense or a lot of defense in 29 practices, or maybe they're not ready for the first game as a potential starter. So I'll know more in a week. We'll see as we keep throwing more and more at him. See what's next.
Talking to Ricardo, he said that he's been there all summer working with Mike. What is your level of expectation for the kind of chemistry that those two should have?
Well, it's different. It's different when you've got 11 guys on defense out there and you're wearing helmets, and the intensity will pick up again once you put full gear on. But I thought Ricardo showed a good understanding of the offense as best he could without being coached. Now today, all of a sudden, he's thinking of a million other things, what the defense is doing, fundamentals that Coach Shane taught him, and doing that within the scope of what he's already learned. So he was, I wouldn't say he was swimming, but he was thinking. And that's a good thing, that he wasn't swimming, that the summer was beneficial to him. Some of the freshmen, they were swimming. They were really struggling just to keep up.
A year ago today, much different situation. What can you say about a difference at UMass?
As I reflect back to a year ago, I was optimistic coming off the field because we had made progress the first summer camp practice from where we ended up spring ball. So I felt good. But if I could compare summer of first practice of 2012 versus 2013, it's a night and day difference. And again, just the way the guys look, the way that they worked, not just the demands that the coaches have for them that they're trying to meet, the demands that they've placed on themselves. You saw and heard guys encouraging other guys to keep up and to keep going, and that's a good thing.
You said you were looking for leaders to see who did you get a feel for any of that today?
I don't want to call out individual names, but I had a great sense that we have more guys leading than ever before. I've been on so many places where the head coach or other coach or assistant coaches bemoan the fact there wasn't enough leadership. After one practice, I'm not going going to say that. I think we do have leaders on this football team, guys that are stepping out. Ask me in a week if I still feel that way. It could change, but right now I feel like we're in a good place with leadership, with guys starting to assert themselves as leaders, and knowing the way to do our business, and demanding that their teammates also practice the same way.
One guy you've already kind of pointed out as a leader is Rob, your captain. How's he going out there?
I thought, he's become even more assertive than what he was in the spring, talking to guys, but also there's the usual guys who have been leaders, did their part, but then one or two other guys that were a little bit more in the shadows back in the spring even started to step out today from the background, and that to me as a coach, that means just growth. I want to see our guys grow as leaders.
You coached a few MAC teams. Is this team starting to look more like the MAC teams you coached in the past?
It does. It does look like a MAC team, and as the MAC gets better and better, I can't tell you where the other teams are at today, but I can tell you that in my picture of what we faced last year, at least we have the first 22 guys out there look like they can compete against the first 22 guys that the other teams put out there.
You excited for Wisconsin?
Very much so. It's you want to think about Wisconsin, but there's so much development that needs to happen between now and then. We don't want to put the cart before the horse.
And then, kind of short term, ready for pads?
Not yet. Not yet. I just want to see us get through the next day of installation, offensively and defensively, special teams, see how we handle that. And I like the way the acclimatization period works, where you kind of build up from helmets to shoulder pads to gear, and then finally into tackling and scrimmaging.
How soon do you expect someone to grab hold of that open guard spot and run away with it?
Gosh, it's probably going to take at least through the second scrimmage till I can really see some separation, because even one scrimmage may not be enough, especially for a younger guy. He's just getting the feel of full speed football at that point, and if he's a little bit behind, I don't want to say he can't be the guy. So we'll wait through the second scrimmage at least. So it's still going to be a revolving door.
How do you feel about your running backs? It seems like you have a lot of young players coming in and a lot of guys returning.
Jordan Broadnax is clearly the best in practice today, but so much of that is to do with a combination of talent and experience, where it's hard to put the freshmen in the same category, and even Stacy Bedell, where these guys may also be highly talented players, they just don't have the experience. But Jordan today really combined both. I felt very good when he was in there, picking up the blitz and knowing his assignments. His footwork was on the money, just what you would expect from a guy like him.
Can those guys all run the same plays, or do you have things that'll fit that a guy like Daquan, who's much larger, can run better and different? I mean, will you have packages for different guys?
We think that different guys will bring different skill sets to the table, but until they prove that they're clearly the best at doing certain things, each one of them is going to be expected to be able to do everything well. And then when a guy differentiates himself as running certain plays clearly better than the other guys, then we'll try to find ways to get that guy in there to do those things.
Do you think some of those first and second year backs can kind of give a guy like Jordan a little bit of a run for his money?
I hope so. Yeah. I really believe that that's got to happen. I don't want to just have. I think Jordan is good, and I'm hoping that some of these younger guys are better.
And can Jordan pull an Alan Williams and maybe run a little bit of receiver?
Well, Alan Williams wasn't as a complete running back as Jordan is, but Alan had one thing better than Jordan at this point, anyways, is Alan had really good hands for a running back, and that's why the transition for him was fairly easy, and it was easier for us to move him from running back. We don't want to overload Jordan and try to teach him too much. He's still young. Wasn't a full-time player last year, just a role player. Obviously, his role has grown, but to what degree, that remains to be seen.